Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the impact of Trump administration plans to stop recommending fluoride in drinking water. Also tonight, we'll hear from the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management about the upcoming wildfire season. And an iconic Valley chef shares her story in a new memoir. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Governor Hobbs today said that she will veto all bills that reach her desk until the legislature compromises on a funding plan for developmental disability programs. At issue is more than $122 million in funding for Arizona's Division of Developmental Disabilities, which serves those with autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and other conditions. Republican lawmakers are calling the governor's move, quote, political blackmail. Of note, Governors Doug Ducey and Jan Brewer also used veto threats in dealing with their respective legislatures. The U.S. Supreme Court today announced that it's decided to hear arguments over President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. No reason was given by the court and the decision was unsigned, but the court said that it will hear the case in a few weeks. The justices also announced that the president's executive order will remain paused while the court considers the case. Fallout from Fed Chair Jerome Powell's warning yesterday about the economic consequences of tariffs. President Trump today lashed out at the Fed chair, saying that Powell's, quote, termination can't come fast enough. The president later threatened to personally remove Powell.
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
The Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and Powell has said that he will not leave office before his term expires next year. Interest rates are up. The average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage was at 6.83% this week. That's up about 0.2 of a point from last week, and it's the largest single-week rate hike in nearly a year. Analysts point to tariff hikes and trade wars for a recent sell-off in U.S. bonds. That said, the average rate for a 30-year fixed is still below what it was at this time last year. And a health note, a new study shows that walking fast can help your heart, most notably heart rhythm abnormalities. The research shows that those who walk at a brisk pace have at least a 35% lower risk of abnormal heart rhythms when compared to slow walkers. The findings are based on a 4-year study of more than 500,000 adults. Health officials say that atrial fibrillation can lead to a greater chance of suffering strokes and heart attacks. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says that he wants the CDC to stop recommending fluoridation in drinking water. Kennedy is citing what he calls new scientific information on the potential health risks of fluoridation. Joining us now is Will Humble, Executive Director of the Arizona Public Health Association. Will, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ted.
What is fluoride?
So it's on the periodic table.
Okay, all right.
Tie here. It's a mineral that, when it's in drinking water, provides extra protection for your teeth so that you're less likely to get cavities. So it's perhaps the #1 oral health intervention of the last century, maybe of all time, because it provides really good protection against cavities. In fact, properly fluoridated water reduces the prevalence of cavities and tooth decay 25%.
Okay, how long has fluoride, though, been in drinking water?
It goes back to the middle of the last century. So in the 1960s, et cetera, some of the cities began to use that public health evidence to start fluoridating water, and it grew from there. At this point, we're in kind of a stasis over the last 10 years, at least in Arizona, where the cities that fluoridate in Arizona, Phoenix, for example, Tempe, Glendale, Mesa, Chandler, they all fluoridate their water to optimal levels. But we have a lot of places in the state that don't. Tucson, for example, has never fluoridated. Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Carefree do not either.
Do we know why they don't? Those areas don't?
These decisions are made by city councils. So like Kennedy says he's against fluoridation in drinking water. That's not an edict that can come from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. They can provide recommendations and
Right.
guidance, but it's city councils who make the decision to invest the money in the engineering that allows the water people to add the right amount of fluoride to the water system. So it's a city council decision ultimately.
Why do some people oppose fluoride in drinking water?
Well, I was at a city council meeting in Phoenix in 2012, I think, and the kinds of things that they were saying they were urging the city council in Phoenix to stop fluoridating water. They were saying just preposterous stuff that has no basis in evidence.
Like what?
Like mind control. I mean, believe it or not, they thought it was it's a mind control thing. So I mean, preposterous, of course, but and with social media and people having sources of information that aren't checked, where there's no editorial review, that stuff begins to mushroom and becomes worse and worse over time. Although I have to say, it's not like we've seen a big erosion in cities dropping fluoridation in their drinking water in Arizona yet. Because the recommendation.
Okay, Fox News. Meta-analysis shows possible detrimental effects from having fluoride in drinking water, mostly on health of pregnant women and infants. Have they got something there?
I have not seen whatever meta-analysis they're talking about. I can say I've looked at the literature frequently, and I knew I was coming on the show, so I looked at it again. I didn't see that meta-analysis. What I can say is that there are many systematic reviews. So you could have individual studies about what fluoride does and doesn't do and what the harms are, potential harms, to just evaluate that stuff. And then you could do what's called a systematic review, where you do a study of the studies.
Yes.
And those systematic reviews consistently show that it's safe and effective. So now I have to say, if the water has more than 1 part per million, the recommendation is 0.7. That 2% of the people will get what's called fluorosis, so a discoloring of the enamel, which is cosmetic. And that's the
All right.
effect.
Okay, but here's some other claims. Harmful impact on bone strength, harmful impact on thyroid function, and harmful impact on cognitive development.
So with bone strength, with bone strength, that happens above 4 parts per million. So what we're talking about, fluoridating water is to 0.7, less than 1 part per million. So when you get over 4, you can start to have those skeletal problems, like is in that study. That's why the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency says you can't have water that delivers more than 4 parts per million. So 0.7 is helpful. Just like everything in toxicology, by the way. Like the number one thing you learn in toxicology is the dose makes the poison. So it's therapeutic at 0.7. It starts to become potentially harmful for people who drink a lot of water over 4. But our water systems don't have that because the EPA stops you at 4.
And yet, RFK Jr. specifically said that the benefits to fluoride, they're mostly topical, that you don't need to ingest fluoride, and by ingesting fluoride, you're asking for trouble. Yes, fluoride's good for the enamel, but don't ingest it.
Well, then he's pro-cavity. That's all I can say.
But do you understand what he's saying? He's saying you don't need to drink the water. It can't be in the drinking water. It's okay for toothpaste and everything else to be topical.
I saw that study. I reread that study before the show.
Yeah.
So drinking, even though there is fluoride in toothpaste and so forth, drinking, when you add it in drinking water, there is still a protective effect. And in fact, the water fluoridation recommended level used to be 1 part per million, but because of all of those other sources in toothpaste that have become more common over the last 20 or 30 years, CDC reduced that recommendation to 0.7. So they're using the evidence over the last couple decades. They've used the evidence to help guide what the recommendation is. And we've talked on the show before about my biggest concern about Mr. Kennedy was his lack of using evidence to drive his opinions. And that's one thing when you're a lawyer suing people. It's a completely different thing when you have the power of the state. And that's the problem.
One more RFK statement here. More fluoride you get, the lower your IQ is going to be.
I don't know where he's getting that.
Okay. So when he wants the CDC to make this recommendation, and last point on this is, as you mentioned, this is the city councils have to figure this out. This is local, this isn't national. However, the CDC recommendation in and of itself, how big a deal is that?
Depends on the jurisdiction. You know, I like take for example the city of Phoenix. If the city of Phoenix, if the CDC were to, under Mr. Kennedy's reign as secretary, to say we don't think you should fluoridate water, I don't think the Phoenix City Council would be compelled to drop fluoride because of that. Are there jurisdictions that would respect him and his part in this administration enough to drop it? Yeah, it's probably, that could happen, I think.
Will Humble, Arizona Public Health Association, very interesting stuff. Good to have you here.
Yeah, sure.
Next time on Death in Paradise.
The pressure exerted caused her windpipe to fracture.
A model is murdered during a fashion show.
Poor girl.
Why is she holding this?
Humphrey thinks her killer was a colleague.
Who had the most opportunity to kill Zoe?
There's just one problem with that theory.
They all have alibis.
A case where appearances are deceiving.
These women have been traumatized. They need handling gently.
On Death in Paradise.
Saturday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Catherine Anaya, host of Horizonte, the groundbreaking program that has served as a platform for Arizona's Latino community for more than 2 decades.
Latinos care about issues across the board, just like everyone else.
There's a lot of diversity in thought and opinion. We just need to make sure parents understand the value in having multilingual students.
We like to hear our voices heard. Stream episodes online at azpbs.org, YouTube, or on the PBS app.
Arizona can expect a, quote, critical wildfire season in the coming months. That's due to years of severe drought and months of extreme short-term drought. And to learn more, we welcome John Truitt, Fire Management Officer with the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management. John, it's always good to talk to you, although it seems like the past few years it's always been we're expecting some bad stuff this summer and this wildfire season. It sounds like we're expecting some real bad stuff.
We are. We're a little more critical than we have been in the past. The lack of measurable, a lot of rainfall this winter has not happened. We're in basically an exceptional drought throughout the state. So yeah, our fuel moistures are very, very critical right now.
When is the wildfire season in Arizona?
You know, typically we'll start around this time of year, but anymore with the whether we put it on climate change or whatever, but fire season's year-round anymore.
It seems like, if nothing else, is it starting earlier?
It's starting earlier, and we're getting more and more fires. Like, say, this year we had the Horton fire up in the Payson area around Christmas. We don't have fires like that, you know, in that elevation this time of year. That's unprecedented. Then a few months later, we had the Brady fire up in Prescott, which would basically clean burned, you know, almost 500 acres. You don't have those type of fire behavior, fire activity that time of year. So we're in a critical situation.
And those fires were because of drought for the most part.
Exactly.
Not high temperatures at that time of year.
No, and if it wasn't for it being that time of year, they would have been explosive fires.
Wow. Okay, so when the fire season does start, though, when the summer does hit, how much do these higher temperatures especially impact what you expect to see?
Yeah, you know, it's gonna continue with the drying of the vegetation that's already at a critical level. So it's just going to accelerate. And right now we're about 3 to 4 weeks ahead of the moisture in the brush. So it's basically almost like mid-May now.
Wow. What parts of the state are you looking at the most? Lower elevations, higher elevations, or the whole thing?
The whole state. Usually we can go off of, you know, elevation seasonality. This year, every elevation, every fuel type was hit with that drought. So we're looking at widespread, all the way from the higher elevations to the low deserts, you know, being able to burn at the same time.
Is there any indication of the monsoon getting here a little earlier than, first of all, is there any indication of an early arrival of the monsoon? Secondly, is that a good thing?
It would be a good thing because it would shorten up our fire season, obviously. And with what the National Weather Service is telling us is that usually following a dry winter, it's a higher likelihood of an early onset or a normal onset of monsoon. So we're hoping that stays true.
Yeah, and I ask, is it a good thing? Because a lot of times the monsoon just means dry lightning, and dry lightning means starting fires all over the place.
Exactly. So the first part of the monsoon, it does come in dry, so that's going to be problematic for us. But then again, you know, if we can get that earlier moisture, that just takes the pressure off all of the Arizona Fire Service. So.
What kind of mitigation efforts have been done so far?
You know, with the Department of Forestry, you know, we're responsible for about 22 million acres, and this year the department has treated over 25,000 acres, you know, and we're concentrating those on more strategic areas to where they can benefit on some community protection.
What is treating? When you say treating,
it's basically taking the vegetation, the overgrowth of the vegetation, and thinning it down to where it should be in a natural state.
Has that process, because I think anyone who's been in the high country has seen some of these controlled burns to a certain extent. Has that process changed? Have you guys learned things over the years regarding mitigation efforts?
No, but the funding has really picked up.
Okay.
Yeah, and it allowed us to complete more acres.
Are you working with federal and local partners?
Yes.
How's that work?
It's working really well. We have what we call our Good Neighbor Authority. We work hand in hand with the federal agencies. Our shared stewardship, another agreement called FORFRI. Everything is in partnership with the federal agencies.
Are national resources like they've been in the past, or is there some concern there?
No, it's you know, with what's going on with the government and then the federal resources, the fire service and the federal agencies are not being affected. So we should have our complement of resources that we can count on from our federal partners.
That's encouraging, but if you have a bad wildfire season in California, New Mexico, Colorado, whatever, are the Arizona firefighters, are they going to be as amenable to helping out in other areas?
We always will be, but we always will staff and have enough resources to cover the state. So yeah, we will be able to help out.
No big concerns there then?
Only if it gets very, very active, and
yeah.
The only concern is making sure that we have enough coverage for our state.
As far as wildfires in Arizona are concerned, and I guess all over, most of them human-caused?
Most of them are human-caused. Whether it's dragging chains, you know, just kind of just out not being aware of their area and the environment. Yeah, at least 70 to 80% of the fires are human-caused.
Wow, leaving campfires unattended.
Exactly.
You know, I brought this up before because I never understood this concept of dragging chains. First of all, I don't see a lot of chains being dragged on freeways and highways and things, but there was an incident here recently where just one chain sparked how many fires?
We had 18 fires within a 20-mile stretch.
Because one chain was dragging behind a truck or something?
Exactly, and that just shows you how dry the vegetation is. Usually something like that on an average maybe get you know, a handful of starts, but every spark that came off that chain started a fire.
Wow. So. All right, so critical season. If you could ask for one thing from Mother Nature, what would it be?
Let's get back on a normal cycle. Let's get some moisture in the ground. Let's just, you know, return back to a normal cycle of, you know, winter, spring, summer, and fall.
Yeah. John Truitt, Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire. All right, well, good luck this season. I hope we get you back at the end of fire season and we all say, well, that wasn't what we expected. It was a lot better than we thought.
I'm hoping to.
All right, good to see you.
Thank you.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the NewsHour, a suspect is in custody after a deadly shooting on the campus of Florida State University. That's coming up at 6 on Arizona PBS.
Award-winning chef Silvana Salcido Esparza has spent decades challenging the culinary world along with advocating for underrepresented communities. Esparza's memoir looks back at her life breaking barriers and challenging the status quo. She'll be at Changing Hands in Phoenix tomorrow for a book signing and discussion. We welcome Chef Silvana to Arizona Horizon. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Now, this book is new, correct?
Yes.
Why did you decide to write a memoir?
Well, before I could give you the recipe for the guacamole, for example, I got to tell you about the history of that avocado. And then while I'm telling you about the history of the avocado, I'm going to talk about the appropriation, the colonization, the commodification of the avocado. And then we'll make and also the almost causing the monarch butterfly to become extinct.
Oh, we don't want that.
So, you know, it's a heavy recipe before I could do that.
It is, but you did that. You did write a memoir. It is about you. It's about, obviously, the many things that you're concerned about, the many things you've done. Was it difficult to put all this stuff into words?
Yes. That's why I wrote a draft last year, and I tested the waters on a few things. And then I came back with this.
And what did the waters tell you when you tested them?
That I don't want to go with a publisher, that I'm going to be anti-colonial and be a self-publisher. And here I sit, right? I have to hustle my own books. I might as well get the money and do good things with it, like build a school for students that's free.
Yeah, and I want to get to those kinds of things and your concerns because they're such an important part of you and your life. But food, the avocado kind of got you here. Talk about the impact and the importance of food in your life.
I come from 800 years of baking from Spain through colonial Mexico, and I saw my father in a bakery. I saw his father at his bakery. And baking wasn't for me, but the importance of UNESCO's World Heritage food like Mexican is. And you can intertwine both as one, panaderia and cocina.
I'm trying to get to your food history before we get to the other concerns. Mm-hmm. Was there a time in your life when you knew that you were going to spend your life around food professionally, that this was going to be what you were about?
Age 15.
15, huh?
Yes.
How so? What happened?
Well, at age 10, I said, I will never do this, as I worked at my dad's bakery.
Yes.
By 15, I found my way in there by making my own very profitable carnitas business, where I got to sell it in my dad's business, and I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
And that's what you did, and you became very successful here. You're not a Phoenix native, correct?
No, but this is my 30th year anniversary.
So you might as well. But what brought you to Phoenix?
Culinary school. It was so different than it is today, and it felt safe, easy. And I was right. I got to grow with it.
Was the foodie atmosphere when you got here and the foodie atmosphere when you started becoming really successful? I mean, you got to be very successful. You were everywhere. You were unavoidable. I mean, you were all over the place. Was the foodie atmosphere, how challenging was it? What did you run into?
Well, it was hard to be, I sometimes felt a little used as the only woman on a list of all these top chefs. But the foodie atmosphere was very different than it is today. And what it was back then, it was very different. You know, it was interesting when I was going to close. Those people who were the foodies back when I opened in the early 2000s.
Yes.
Came back, and now they were just a little older, but they were still those foodies.
Yeah.
But the foodie atmosphere allowed people like Eddie Matney to grow, and Tarbell's, and you know, and I wanted to play with that. I wanted to be right there, but with my food as a Mexicana.
And with your food and with your outlook on society and with your other causes, your other concerns, your other interests, how did all of that envelop? How did all of that work together?
I backpacked through Mexico for a greater part of a year. And when I came back, after getting the blessing of the traditional cooks, las cocineras tradicionales de Mexico, I knew what I had to do. I had to correct the erroneous perception North Americans have of what Mexican cuisine or food is, and as well as the culture. And I set out to do it one plate at a time. And I did really good until something happened in 2010 and changed everything.
Yeah, SB 1070, you were front and center on that. We're running out of time, and I got so much I want to ask you.
It's by the book.
By the book, yeah. Did activism, did it crowd out food for you?
No, you cannot. You know, somebody told me as the threats came, shut up and cook. There's no politics in food, and I so beg to differ. How about for the way my people are treated as the minute they're working in the fields? I mean, look at the news now.
Right. Barrio Cafe, obviously, these are things in the past now. These are things in the rearview mirror for you. What's next for you?
Well, I am opening a school, a free school for students to, if I want to be decolonial, then I have to cut out the middleman and just do it. And I have 14 students that went through basics already, and they're fantastic. I am working on a cruise ship in New York and sitting here with you.
All right. Well, I'm so glad you sat here with me. Chef Silvana, it's good to see you. Congratulations on the book and a great career.
Thank you very much.
That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.